How about that? How about that, Lance
How
Leduc?
about that? Wow.
I would like to point out to the lovely people in the audience and to the rest of them that you were just
Cold.
complaining about how much you hate the cold, and yet you live in Pittsburgh. That's
Uh,
funny.
it is funny. I hate the cold, and I'm always going to live in the cold. I have a feeling.
Really.
Uh,
Like, why would you always live in the cold if you hate the cold?
my wife likes seasons, and I want to live where she is. So I'm funny like
That
that.
was that was you just broke that down pretty succinctly actually.
Yeah.
She likes seasons and I enjoy spending time with her. So
Yeah.
I will say that
That's
when
cool.
I lived in Arizona, I did not enjoy the lack of seasons at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, at all. Like winter's cool and all, but like because it's nice, but and it is at least nice there that it gets cold at night. I mean, it gets down into
Mm-hmm.
the 40s regularly because it's the desert. But yeah, the whole because summer isn't a season there. It's just like
Oh yeah.
everything is awful.
Yeah.
But then there was I think the hardest that I ever made Sam Palafian laugh, other than at like other than at like 1 o'clock in the morning, was
I thought you were going to say
was
you're playing.
no, no well yes the hard yeah no not because of my lack of ability on the tubas that made him laugh sometimes as well. There was a kid who was in there for it was my lesson time, and there was a kid who was asking Sam questions about something. And this was actually one of my students as well, because as the TA, I taught all freshmen and sophomores at ASU, and they studied with Sam. It was actually a really cool setup. So nobody got mad that they got stuck with the TA because they all got the TA and Yoda, so which was cool. Which also meant that I was like teaching the kid who had won first chair all state in Texas, like I was teaching that kid as a 21-year-old, which was pretty cool. So anywho, 22. Anyway, this kid it was like 11:02, and my lesson started at 11, and like the questions were still coming, and I then yelled at the kid. I said, "Get the hell out! It's my lesson time. Why do you think I moved to this bleeping sandbox?" And and Sam like fell over on his desk laughing, and the kid started laughing, and then I started laughing, and then like that was one of those where 10 minutes into the lesson, Sam was like bleeping sandbox. He's like cracking himself up for no reason. 10 minutes later, you funny hits, you funny. So like, thank you, sir. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I miss the seasons.
uh, uh,
I
uh,
will say that winters suck when you don't live somewhere where you can do something about it. Like I'm into like skiing is amazing, and there are people who will tell you that there's skiing within like an hour and a half or 2 hours of Washington D.C., but that's not really true. So like 4 hours away in West Virginia, there's like a good 1,500 foot drop mountain but that's like 4 hours away. That's a pretty good
that's an effort.
yeah, that's an effort. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so I do wish that I lived closer to being able to actually enjoy winter. We're supposed to get 8 inches on Thursday.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. I'm not going anywhere,
Yep.
so bring it all on.
Yeah, I guess if I don't have to go out, I don't mind it as much. But it's just no, no. I've never found any activity outdoors in this weather that I thought this is better than being inside. For some people, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And bless you if you're one of those people.
Oh, I love skiing. I've done it. Geez, I've gone skiing twice in the last like 30 years. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was at Heavenly in Lake Tahoe, and then it was in Breckenridge. So it was two hell of a ski trips. But yeah, not not too much. Just don't live near it. So anyway,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Bleh. Plus, we've been having all these issues with the cottage, and it's just like it's just been one challenge after another.
the you figured out why why most of your new neighbors winterize their cottages and don't go in the middle of winter.
Yeah, well, kind of. Although I think once we get over this hump, we should be good to go. And even moving forward, I think I'm sure we're going to have other problems. I don't believe we're going to have this specific set of problems ever again. So
You know what you sound like? You sound like a boat owner.
yeah, it is that kind of vibe.
Like, as soon as we get the rudder fixed, it just sticks a little bit, then we're gonna be good. And yeah, what are the two happiest days?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Guess what, Lance?
Let's see. You already told me you're getting ages of snow. You lost in another scat battle to your son.
No, he is not. He has taken mercy on me. He has not battled me. My son, the other day, I did share this story in an upcoming episode, but he, in the middle of dinner, first of all, he was eating dinner in his Minions Halloween costume, like as you do.
As were you.
Yeah. Boy, it's a real pain in the ass finding a Minions costume for someone who's 6'4" with like gorilla arms. Yeah,
like Iron Man.
The many years ago when 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when I played with Baltimore Symphony on Halloween, which I recently shared into some sort of a microphone, got the Elmo head, which was great. It's big, but then the rest of the Elmo costume, the sleeves were like, this is an adult costume, and the sleeves are down to here. So I ended up wearing an actual suit and tie with a giant Elmo head. So, so my son in the Minion costume was he got out of his chair, stood up, and he said, "Scat off, Dad," and then he started scat singing, and his scat singing included some pretty nasty dance moves and some air tuba, and he was pointing at me and taunting me during it. This is like while he was like chewing black beans or something, and then pointed at me as if it was my turn. And
black beans is your pet dog, right?
And then yes, and then I did my best. I thought it was pretty good, and he was just like the whole time he was looking at me. He was just like, no. So he destroyed me. Yeah, he destroyed me. So
that's pretty good.
Well, it is pretty good. He's a funny child. He does not lack in personality. I'm never like, boy, I wish Nicholas had more personality. So, there's times when I'm like, I wish he had a little less right this second. But yeah, that doesn't really work. So, have your kids are grown now. You don't have like firsthand knowledge of the stupid stuff that they do.
No.
That's too bad.
In fact, yeah.
I mean, they do it. They're not old enough that they don't do stupid stuff, but they just don't.
I don't know if it's too bad because the age that they are, they're capable of doing stupid stuff at a whole different level. That if I knew about it,
right? That's what I mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know. I don't want to know.
I mean, Duncan's hilarious, and he's a freshman in college. Like, there's zero chance that he has not exhibited some poor decision making.
100%.
But that's like, yeah, like the list of people you want to keep all that from, like, yeah, mom and dad are at the top of that whole list.
Yeah.
Like, you are at the top of that pyramid. I can get it out of him, I bet, but like,
my daughter, it's interesting because now he's got to do red wire, green wire with my daughter because
right,
she's 27.
So she's like 9 years older than him. 8, 9,
eight and change, yeah. And so she's old enough to still be a confidant and also old enough to go, why? What are you doing? Like, don't.
If she was 20, she'd probably be like, "Oh, that's funny. Yeah, good for you, man." Yeah.
Like, oh, really? You're better than that. You're better than this.
When usually that's actually not true. When some celebrity says something horrible and they say that's not who I am as a person, it's like, well, no, actually it is. You just, I mean, and people do change, but like that's the whole thing, though.
No, I meant the part about getting caught.
That's not who I am. That's not who I am as a person.
I'm usually good at getting away with dumb things. It's not who I am to get busted and called out for my own stupidity.
Oh, goodness.
So this weekend, I am the MC for the Western International Band Conference.
That's great.
It's going to be very fun. I'm hosting 2 days of virtual events with our good friends who run both Wibbick and ABC, the McKees et al.
That's great.
Yeah, it's like a crazy who's who as well. Like Alan Vizzuti. I'm trying to think of just the brass people. Vizzuti and Pat and Harry Waters and Chris Castellanos.
Carol, right?
Carol, Joe Alessi, John Mackey is one of the composers. Frank DeKelly is another one of the composers. I'm blanking, but yeah, should be a hoot. Pat and I are running a game night thing for the students. And unfortunately for the students, I've watched way too much Taskmaster. So I have some wonderfully, delightfully strange things we're going to have them participate in. So that'll be fun.
Hey, I got a really nice out of the blue tweet today from a little known euphonium player by the name of David Childs.
Wow.
Who said that he listened to an episode of Andrew Hitz's brilliant TEM podcast on YouTube.
Jeez.
How about that? I did not Google to see whether in Wales brilliant means the same thing as here. I'm just assuming that it does. So it may be over there. It means like thoroughly and overwhelmingly mediocre. But yeah, so that was kind of nice. So
that was nice.
Yeah, and he told other people to listen to it. So how about that? Right?
Man, did he say what episode it was? Caught his ear?
He did. That would have been an interesting question. I shot back at him, thank you. And then he wrote, I'm a big fan. Andrew, thanks for doing what you do, inspiring so many, particularly during this difficult time. And then, yeah, wishing the family well, etc. So, but yeah, I don't know what episode it was. Maybe it was your episode.
Definitely. I think. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So we've got we made a little bit of an announcement today.
We did. Yes, that's true.
Yep. The announcement is that we are we're doing a scholarship drive for our Brass Junkies Tuba workshop. How about that?
That is very cool. What a nice thing.
Yeah.
See, we can be nice.
We are we're matching we have a very lofty goal of getting 100 2-day passes paid for, and Pedal Media is matching. So for half of they're $79, so for $39.50, then you can get somebody who would not otherwise be in attendance to be there and to get to learn from Roger Bobo and Carol Yonch and Lance LeDuc, and one of these things is not like the other, and Mike Roylance and Velvet Brown and Deanna Swoboda and David Zirkle and Pat Sheridan and myself. So we've already I haven't even actually posted about it on Facebook yet, and we've already had 11 scholarships purchased today so far. So
that's pretty great. That's like that's like that's close to 11% of the way there.
That is, well, it would be closer to 9%, but yes.
I thought we were going for 100.
We are.
And we have 11.
Uh-huh.
So wouldn't that be 11% of the way?
11%. Yes. It's between 9 and 13.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yes, it is. It's like, well, it's like 10.8. You round it. So, yes. So there you go. How about that?
So sign up to get a scholarship to somebody.
And by the way, cool. It's we are partnering with the Harmony Arts Foundation out of Pennsylvania, and so all donations are tax deductible.
Even better.
Yep. So that's pretty cool.
That's all right.
See?
We're not as bad as most people think. We're not as bad as many people think. I don't know about most.
We're not having as many commenters as usual. It turns out when we do our Brass Junkies Sunday on Tuesday and don't tell anyone it's going to happen, that not as many people show up.
You should have seen the comments they had lined up on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh,
all the Well, Sunday was Valentine's Day, and then yesterday was yesterday was President's Day. I spent all day honoring all the presidents.
I did too. I alphabetized my. I have collecting collectible cards, and I rearrange them from time to time. Sometimes I go by height. Sometimes I go by weight. Um, but yesterday I alphabetized them by middle initial.
The we got some sort of like a presidential deck of cards, and there's there's one former president that my son is not super fond of, and he pointed at him because he was on the box, and he said, "Why is he on the box?" And I just said, "Why indeed."
Stupid James Polk.
Yeah, absolutely. Boy, if there's ever been a punchable face in the White House, it's Polk, man. Oh my goodness! I don't know how anybody didn't punch him. Um, TBJ 157 dropped today.
How about that?
Yeah.
We learned about, well, tuba, but we also learned about coffee, and we learned about wine, and we learned about, what else did we learn about? Sandwiches.
About Seth's pants.
His pants. Oh, that's true. He needs stronger pants.
His wife, who is a pianist, she's supposed to be phenomenal.
Hey, family show.
I actually have never met her, which is very, very not likely because we both live in the same town and we're friends, and she's a musician, but we've never met. But she actually commented on Seth's post about it today on Facebook and said, "Podcast and hosts are great, entertaining even for non-brass players. But please disregard all the stories regarding my husband's pants." That's like my favorite comment that we've ever gotten from anyone about an episode, I think. So
that's a really good comment.
So thank you, Sophia. Yeah. So, yep. Which I like that, the other comments are like, "Proud of you," from someone with maybe his sister. It's Beth Cook McGonigal. And then a "congratulations, awesome interview" from someone else. And then, and it's his wife saying, "Ignore the comments about my husband's pants," which that's funny.
That's pretty funny.
He's a fascinating guy, huh?
I thought so for sure.
He's really fascinating.
Really interesting.
Yeah. You guys would, you did on the podcast, but Seth and Lance don't know each other, but you guys would hit it off famously if you were, hanging out. Like if you were on the faculty somewhere for a weekend thing, like you guys would be hanging out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the whole time. So he's, as you said, he's always learning. Like he's he's always learning. He's my coffee guru. I'm the coffee guru to a number of people, and convince a lot of people to spend way too much money on their rigs. But Seth is the real deal. He is my guru.
Did you see Seth Godin is, speaking of Seth's and being into things, Seth Godin starting in March I think it's on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn maybe, I can't remember. He's doing a series of interviews about chocolate.
Really?
With all these purveyors of chocolate. One of the things he's very passionate about is ethically sourced chocolate.
Yep.
And so this is, and actually in the post, Seth's blog, if you go to look for Seth's blog this week and type in chocolate, he's got a list of all these chocolate bars that you can already, like, you can just go ahead and pick up now. And then he said there's going to be interviews with people about each one of them.
Cool.
He said what's awesome about it is that, it's there are many subtleties and intricacies about tasting them as with wine, except it'll only cost you $11 to get like an amazing chocolate bar from some place where you're actually paying the folks who grow the beans like 10 times or more what they would have made because of the world.
Yes.
Let's just stop there.
There was because of gestures broadly at all of this. Yeah.
That's what made us what we are today.
I've only dipped my toe into the fancy chocolate world. It's
You have a chocolate dip toe?
I do.
Wow.
It's fascinating. And the like big chocolate is pretty awful.
Hmm.
Like there was, in fact, there was just a class action suit like announced just the other day, actually, against like I won't get any of the details right, but it was just in the Washington Post.
Hmm.
Like yeah, some folks over I don't even remember which country, but it was like a big suit against like the big players in the mass chocolate world. So
Yikes.
yep, not ideal.
Are you doing? I can't remember. Did you sign up for masterclass?
Yes, I watched one half of one video when I signed up in December, and it was really interesting. And I have not watched anything since.
What was the half of one video that you watched? Do you remember what course?
Oh, yes, it was um, author that I really like, Daniel.
Not
I
Baldacci.
I've never
No,
even heard of that person, which that
Daniel.
probably means that they've sold 1 billion copies of some book, but I'm not going to think of it right now. The yeah, I mean, it was
Daniel Solzhenitsyn.
uh
Daniel Hemingway.
no
Daniel Steinbeck.
no,
Daniel Vonnegut.
and it wasn't Daniel Kahneman. Maybe that's who I was just thinking of, like the Thinking Fast and Slow, but that's not the guy. Um, I don't remember.
Oh.
It was good, but I haven't been back.
Hmm.
Yeah, I haven't
I,
been
I
back.
run hot and cold, but now there's a fitness one that folds in. I've been actually paying more attention to my health in the last few uh, while, and so this one actually it's a very thoughtful. I don't remember the guy's name, but that's a good one. And then the John Cabot Zen has a meditation one that I'm working on. That's amazing. I'm
Hmm.
3 videos in, and it's really good. I just finished. I did Robin Roberts on interview. Well, I mean, among other like journalism, I think ostensibly, but there's a whole bunch of stuff about interviewing on it,
Does
and
she reference us at all during that?
it was really embarrassing how much she was going on about us. But oh, is it my internet? No, sure. So it was embarrassing. Uh, but that one was pretty good too. But Penn and Teller, I mean, the one like Steve Martin, Penn and Teller. Actually, Jake Shimabukuro is. I'm gonna start working on my ukulele again because he's got a course on there.
Huh.
Actually, I watched. Yeah, there's some really cool. There's just, but it's like it's if it's not in the right place on my phone and I'm not thinking about it, then it's
Yeah,
just so
I
easy. There's so much other content.
well, and I've also lately I've been figuring out that there's just not that this is like new information, but there's just so much on YouTube, like
Oh yeah.
so much on YouTube. It's just like this like never ending source of knowledge. Um, that so I've been watching more videos on there, like history videos and um, I actually I mentioned to you the other day that I'm almost done with the third volume of Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, and I actually was searching videos like about the Gulag and also about him, like bios, and um, completely screwed up my algorithm because there are some
Oh.
real mouth breathing knuckle
Oh.
draggers who have kind of taken part of Solzhenitsyn's message and have turned it into a rallying cry. So I like some of these people who it turns out are like well known for this, but I don't really hang out in those cesspools. So like I clicked on a few of them and then I was like, oh God, what have I done? So yeah, it's like so
That's funny.
so yeah, it is kind of funny actually. So
So Holtz wants to know, is it Dan Brown?
yes, no, it's not Dan Brown. No, it's not
Oh.
Dan Brown.
I like his books. They're like page
I
turner.
follow this person on Twitter. I'm totally blanking, and I'm like scrolling through, and I can't find who they are. They're a great author, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't
do
know
need some coffee, Holtz. You're right.
the
Ugh.
the yeah. So anyway, yes, it's Danielle Steele.
Funny.
Ah, and so now all of a sudden now the
Here we are.
yeah now there's commenters coming in.
See?
Look at that. Look at that. See? what I like is that when you click on one of these to get the comments up, then you can't. As soon as you do that, then like the audio starts. And now
Oh yeah,
Facebook has changed it such that when you close the window, that the audio restarts in another window. So
nice.
yeah, it's I love autoplay stuff. It's totally not to goose their algorithm.
Daniel
How
Brady.
no the how about the oh, it's gonna drive me nuts too. How about the hilarious video that that Abby put up
Oh,
of the
with the
halftime
halftime
show?
show,
Yeah,
that's very funny. I don't
yeah.
go on the book face so much anymore, and I just saw that. So I don't. When did she post that? Was it shortly after?
Yeah, no, it was like I don't know, a couple of days ago.
That's
Did we
pretty
see?
funny.
My
I'm
friend
trying to
Christina is
find.
saying, did you ever see the video with the cocoa farmers tasting chocolate for the first time? I have not. That sounds interesting
That
though.
does sound interesting.
Huh.
All right. So writing. This was on writing.
I don't know.
David Sedaris.
No,
That one's funny. On storytelling, it's quite good. David Baldacci. David Mamet.
and maybe no. I said Daniel, but maybe that's
Oh,
not right either.
well, that's all the writing ones.
Yeah, I don't think it was writing.
Okay. Let me look for Daniel. Daniel Negreanu on poker.
No,
That's what it was.
no.
Da- I bet I know what it is.
What?
Daniel Pink.
Yes, of course.
Told you.
Yes, there you have it. It was really good. The problem actually was that it was. What is the name of that one? What is the name of the course?
Hang on. Pink. Turns out he's the only one. It is Sales and Persuasion.
That's it. Yeah, it was. It was good enough. So sometimes I run into this problem. It was good enough that like I really needed to be watching that in front of my computer and taking notes
Oh,
because I
yeah.
could turn all of it into TEM content, into like podcast episodes, blog posts. Could use it to help clients for TEM coaching. But the problem is that well, the problem is there's too much content to consume. But I don't ever just kind of like let it wash over me, you know, and then like go back. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I was like starting to take notes, but then I also decided that I wanted to finish the Gulag Archipelago, which is some heavy lifting. I'm getting real close. I'm getting really, really. I have less than 2 hours left. Yeah, which is I don't remember how many hours it is total. 60, 70. So, and
I'm
I
waiting
got
for the
less than
musical.
two left. That
Morris Northcutt wants to know when the trumpet mouthpiece workshop starts.
the we should. That's funny,
That
Morris.
is funny.
We should we should totally host a brass related event because it wouldn't be funny if we were to like host something about like you know macrame, which we obviously don't know anything about, but it should
Hey,
be
speak for
something
yourself.
that we can and I do know that macrame is either the one with the pointy needle or the not point. But I don't remember which. The we should totally host something that it needs to be for free. Something that we can that people would think that we know about that we know nothing about. Like that would have to be brass related.
Well, mouthpieces is be a good like.
I mean, yes,
That's a good
yes.
one because I don't know any. I know which end to blow in most days.
I mean, I do know that the best tuba mouthpiece is certainly
It's
the
the Parker, right?
yeah. Well, it's specifically the. I mean, it's like yeah. Victoria Parker may actually be watching the stream, but it's definitely not the Victoria. It's the hits.
Oh,
So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, the moving right along. Yeah, trumpet mouthpieces. That would be good. That would be good. So, if you're just tuning in, if you want to help us to, I've already reached out to, I'm already collecting names. I'm reaching out to people, to band directors and private teachers, and for names of people that are going to be receiving the scholarships for the Brass Junkies Tuba workshop. Cool thing about this, by the way, is that all sessions are going to be archived for long-term viewing. So there's going to be a thing on practicing from Lance, the whole music practice coach presentation. Carol Jansch is going to be doing something on winning the audition, so which is going to be about taking auditions in general and professional auditions. And then there's a couple of warm up classes, and yeah, there's a whole lot of cool stuff going on. So,
Hmm. Well, and
um,
if you missed it, if you didn't join us right away, there's a scholarship campaign going on now where you can uh, buy a scholarship for a student, and it'll cost you half of what it normally would. So for
yep.
$39.50, you can sponsor a student to come to the event.
And thanks to our friends at the Harmony Arts Foundation, then it is actually a tax deductible donation. So, yeah, so check it out. And we already have had some generous people today. We've already got 11. So, our goal is to get 100. We'll see. We need to do this, by the way, by like next weekend because I need time to be able to find the folks. And it's all going to be archived. So, we absolutely could, if the money keeps coming in afterwards, then we can still be getting people, access after the fact. But it would be great to have them be able to attend live as well. So,
Sure. Yeah. Morris now says that's actually a good idea too, like a high note clinic. If we had like a high note, like how to play high notes, especially on the trumpet, but any kind of high note thing, we're gonna, and it's a 10 hour days of how to play higher high
it's
notes.
all, I mean, there's really nothing physically, it's just attitude.
When you start at the beginning of the first day and you say, okay, first we need everybody to mentally prepare, so we're going to turn our cameras off for 2 hours. We're here and we trust that you're going to be there, and we'll see you in 2 hours. That's not bad. Choosing
That's not
silver
bad.
polish, that's not bad either. Yeah, what kind of silver polish is the best for your sarrusophone?
I'm always on top of keeping my instruments look as gorgeous as possible.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and hinge maintenance for your case. That's a big one.
Do you remember when we landed at LAX? And of course, I landed by myself. I was first because, of course, it worked out that way. When my tuba case, the latches didn't come undone, but the entire hinge just ripped in half. And so the little the little like fabric thing that keeps the clamshell from opening all the way, that was the only thing that kept my tuba inside of the case. But the problem was I couldn't put it down with the down, or the tuba would just like slam on the sidewalk. And if I put it upside down, then it would spread. And at LAX is the eighth circle of hell, and I had to get on a rental shuttle, like a packed rental shuttle with a bunch of asshole businessmen who couldn't possibly care any less about like my predicament or any other humans at all. And so
You're
I'm
slow
like,
dancing with your
no,
tuba as you.
I was having to straddle. I was like straddling the the case, and I had to keep my knees or else the whole thing. And I also had a full suitcase
Right.
and my computer bag, and so I had to like. It was like I had to walk up the steps with the two of the shuttle with the tuba in between my legs, and then I had to stand out of the way. And there's people grunting at me like because I'm just like it's not that I'm possibly like dealing with like a situation here. It's just that I have to just be a completely oblivious asshole
Mhm.
who's dumb enough to stand like not in the ideal place. So I really miss traveling all the time, man. I
It's
really
gonna
miss it.
take such effort and/or check size to get me to leave my house ever again.
Don Sade actually hooked me up. I brought him the case, and then I drove straight to him in Orange County, and then like he was like, oh, I'll go to Home Depot and buy a hinge. And I'm like, you can just buy hinges. And he was like, he's like, where do you think hinges come from, like the Hinge Fairy? And I was like, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but um and then he was like, had like drills and chainsaws and blowtorches, and like
Yep.
all of a sudden it was like better than it was beforehand. So um yeah,
The aristocrats.
that was the somebody somebody is somebody is commenting, but I gotta fix this, man. It just says Facebook user, so I don't ever know who's making fun of me. But that's fair. Uh, somebody said I was a penguin, and what was the where where now I can't even find it. Oh, this is terrible. Anyway, I'm feeling old, man. I can't use technology.
I just disgust myself multiple times a day, usually when I'm teaching, and I go to do a thing that I know how to do. So I tap my head there like I was just a little extra something, and I just fail. And I like from the student's perspective, they just see their professor go, ah, like imagine giving a monkey an abacus. That's what you would see if you were watching me try to do this simple thing on my computer right now. Oh, God, it just disgusts me.
I know I have
Hey,
talked.
thank you, Dorn.
I know I have talked about it before, but the time when Abby and I both
Oh, yeah.
watched watched Lance take like 25 clicks to do something on Google on a shared Google Doc while we were all on Zoom together that could have and should have been done in like 2 or 3. It was
That's
like
still, I would still do it the way that I know how to do it. Because I know that there are some things where I know that there's a better way, and I just go, I need to do this so infrequently, or I just don't care. I'm just going to do it the stupid way. Like, okay, I saved myself 8 seconds.
this,
Whatever.
but this was
Just like
not eight
give up.
seconds. This was long enough for both, like for because it was just in the
Mhm.
flow of the meeting, and like I noticed and Abby noticed, and then like we like looked at each other. We
Mhm.
made eye contact on Zoom. It was kind of like where I was kind of like, is that we were both and we were like okay, and then we were like we waited, and then we went back to you, and then we made eye contact a second time. We are
Yep.
like, yeah. She was
Well,
like, wow,
because that's
my
part of the
mentor.
problem. Like one in every X number of times, I butcher the thing that I'm doing. I make it worse. So then I have to like do a bunch of undos to like retrace my steps. And I'm not, there's no defense of it. It's simply an explanation. I'm not defending the behavior. I'm merely pointing out that I'm just too old to give a shit about changing it.
How many people does Facebook pay 6 or 7 figures to continually make the user interface worse on this hellscape of a platform? Uh,
22.
I am on the Brass Junkies page, and on this post, it says that there are 14 comments. It is showing 4 of them. When I click on the 14 comments link, it makes those other 4 disappear, and there is no obvious way to make the 10 that are not showing show right now. So it's only showing me the 4 most recent.
Hmm.
That doesn't seem like it's like I even refreshed the page. Like I tried to click on the people reached. This website is special. It is special. Goodness gracious. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out who had the penguin egg comment that I saw, which is funny. I just don't know who the hell said it. So
Was
there
it
you go.
on Facebook? It wasn't on the Brass Junkies page because I'm looking at all those comments.
Then maybe it was on the Petalone Media page. I don't know. All I know is that I can't get all of the comments up, which is annoying. But that's nice. No one cares.
Says trumpet players. Morris said trumpet. Morris is on a roll.
Yeah.
Trumpet players' posts get truncated.
Oh, here it is. James said you were basically about the tuba case. You were basically a penguin, and the tuba was your egg.
Oh,
That's actually pretty funny.
that is pretty funny.
Yep.
Happy feet.
Oh, and poor Ellen said that she's not going to be able to unsee me straddling my broken tuba case on a rental bus with a bunch of pissed off business travelers.
When you were getting off, you should have been, yeehaw! Come on, little doggy, let's go.
When I first started traveling with a tuba, lots of people stare at you when you're carrying a flight case through an airport. And like I used to be, when I was young, it was uncomfortable, but then I would just start staring back at people. And then the eyes avert quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there's always the, I bet you we should play the flute guy, which is always good. That's always good.
Yeah.
And then there was the person at O'Hare who was with TSA, and I always take my mouthpiece and put it on top of like my sweatshirt, whatever. I don't leave it in my bag because if they're the 1 in 10 chance that the person's actually looking at the X-ray screen, they see that thing and it's not in their manual, so they're like, okay, let's take a look at this, which is not unreasonable. So I put it right on top, so they're not rifling through everything. And she picked it up. She looked at it rather confusingly, and she said, "What's this?" And I said, "It's a tuba mouthpiece." And she said, she paused, and then she said, "Oh, you mean like for a flute or something?" And I said, and I was like, "Yes." And she said, "Okay, have a nice day." That was yes,
Yes.
like a flute or something.
That's always the best path.
Yep,
Just swallow and move along.
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yep.
Holtz doesn't feel so bad now about having to be shown how to use his credit card. I feel you, Doug. I feel you.
The, the, how do you need? How does anyone need instructions on how to use a credit card?
I don't know.
What the
Maybe
hell,
because of the
Holtz?
chip. Because those have only been around for a while. I'm not making fun, Tom, because God knows. I mean, I'm amazed I can get myself dressed some days.
The,
So
well, it's not incompetence. It's give a shit. Like that's your problem.
fair.
Well, it's a cocktail of the two. But yeah.
Yeah.
The new card reader from Square. Okay, well that's yeah, that's understandable. So, all right, Lance Leduc, Brass Junkies Tuba Workshop. Sign up. It's going to be awesome. $39 1-day pass gets you warm up class with Mike Royal Lance, Q&A / clinics with Velvet Brown and Roger Bobo. 2-day class, 2-day pass gets you all that plus Sunday warm up class with Deanna Swoboda. And then two 2-hour master classes, one with Pat Sheridan, one with David Zirkle. And then there's an hour-long hang with Lance and I. And then there are 2 bonus things that come from that 2-day pass, which is a music practice coach workout builder with Lance Leduc, which we've already started selling those like as their own thing, man. How about that?
Who knew?
That's a $29 event. And then Carol Jansch winning the audition, which is a separate $29 event. But both of those are included for the $79 cost. And for Lance's thing, you get a $20 book as well. For the $29 class, you get a $20 book, and you get the $29 class and the $20 book and the other $29 class all for the $79, which this is like $60, $78 worth of extra stuff for $79.
Dollars.
How about that?
That's a lot of dollars.
That's a lot of dollars.
And so, I didn't. Well, you didn't refer. You didn't mention it or notice it. But I've decided. I don't know when I decided, but I just noticed that recently I call chocolate. I added the. I'm more emphatic about the middle syllable, and so now I call it chocolate. And I make no apology for it. Just I was putting it out there. So controversy.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, buy a scholarship for a tuba player who couldn't afford one.
Yes.
You're doing good.
We're looking for 100 of them.
It's tax deductible too.
It is.
I mean, seriously.
It is. We are already collecting names. Yeah, it's we're looking to get 100 2-day passes. When Petaluma Media is matching, so $39.50. We'll get. So, but you can even donate $5. So it'll all total. But yeah, do that, please.
Tom says you got to tap it. I'm just going to leave it at that. So Dorn says that traveling with his Anvil tuba case on wheels was a nightmare at airport. Those things were serious. Those Anvil cases. Those weighed more than the horns.
I had I had a big ass case before you were in. Like it was really big. I remember when we went to. No, I think I still had it when you first started. I think I segued out of that while you were in the band. Because there was 2 times. One was when we and I believe Jeff Connor, not always, but in these instances I do. When he told them, there was 2 times. One when we got picked up at the airport in Athens, Greece. The other one we got picked up at the airport at Heathrow, and like both times he was like, we got a lot of stuff, right? Like we got
Right.
like even the trumpet players have like like little
Yeah.
mini crates because they got a flugel and like and a a B flat or a C or I don't care, and then
Jar of
like
pickles.
and a pick, and you had a euphonium and a trombone,
Right.
and so that was like a box, and then I had a big ass tuba box, and they brought a big SUV, but they
Hmm.
brought a
Wow.
big SUV for five of us and all of our shit for like a 2 week Europe tour. Yeah, and the guy was like, "Oh," we were
Oh.
like, "Yeah." Do you remember we had to go to the hardware
Hmm.
store? Like, it turns out there's a hardware store like a mile down the road from Heathrow, and like had to buy rope. I mean, like a lot of rope. Yeah, it was stuff, and and that also happened to us in Hong Kong when we had this was our fault though. We were like, let's try and fit in one cab. Do you remember that? And like my
Hmm.
tuba was sticking out the back. Like I mean, it was like the trunk. This is the trunk. My tuba was like that. My tuba looked like this. I mean, that's how much was sticking out the back of the cab, and it was all tied in. And it was like, there's a chance this is just going to bounce down the highway, but it'll be fine, right? But the Athens one was like where the guy was like speaking in Greek, and he was saying a lot of words. He
Calabrita.
wasn't mad, but he was like, it was a lot of words. That was
George Barbarakos.
yes, yeah, that was a
Yeah.
fun
Oh,
trip.
we had a great time. Yeah. Well, and who was it? Jose and me and three of us landed early, and George.
No, I landed early too. This is one of my biggest
Oh,
regrets in
we had
Boston
to
Brass.
go. Yeah, yeah.
I was sick.
'Cause we were. Oh, yeah.
I was sick, so I had to go, and it was the right call. But I had to go to the. I didn't get to like to. I got no complaints. I've been to like 35 countries and most of
Yeah.
them multiple times, so I really shouldn't complain about anything. But I didn't get to like tour the ruins, and I
Yeah.
mean so because I was sick. Yeah, I just went back and slept.
But he got us cocked too, man. Like that was like step one: get the Americans drunk. Step two: show them old things.
Right.
Like, wow, it was like
I'm
100 degrees here.
I'm
Let's
very
climb the
glad that
Acropolis.
I didn't do if I had because I was like, boy, it was really hard for me to say no, take me just to the hotel, but like my body was telling me like this whole trip is going to go sideways if you do not go to sleep like as soon as possible. And that was the problem was like you guys didn't get there for I mean, I think that the next thing was like the next flight was in 8 hours or something, and then
Yeah.
my body was like, wait a minute, a bed's either 4 hours away or 12 hours away. Like if I'm going to end up just
It was
sleeping in
like
the damn
all
car.
through the mountains to get up there. That trip, there was some. We should unpack that trip sometime and what we remember of it. Because remember the dogs? We got these dogs
Yeah.
mad, and
The
there
trout
was
farm.
and that trout farm, and then they were building the stage like just before we got on it.
I just told somebody that story the other day. We showed up for sound check and there was like there's like chainsaws going and we're getting closer. We're like, whoa, there's a construction site at like 5:30 p.m. We're like, they're building the stage. Yeah. So and it was like a big
That
crowd
was
too. It was
beautiful.
like it was
That was
awesome.
such a
And it
great
was
trip. Yeah,
outdoors.
and
But yeah.
they treated us so well. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So speaking of the case story reminds me. Sam has to have told you the time that because he used to tour in Empire for a while with the detachable bell horn. So he had two
Mm-hmm.
cases,
Mm-hmm.
and they landed. I want to say it was LaGuardia, and there was a period of time where the mob would just like take the
Oh yeah.
carts and they would just drive them up into the back
Yes.
of the semis, and then they
Yes.
would take the stuff. And so Sam's tuba is just gone. And then some period of time later, they were in some other airport, and they had a super tight connection, and so they were on one of those beep 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 vehicles, like going, all of Empire Brass is riding on this thing, and so Sam's sitting sideways, and he said he goes by and he sees there's like this open door, and he sees his bell in the case. And he's like, "Stop the cart!" And he makes the guys stop, and he like somehow convinces them to go in there, and he has his ID, his name on the thing, and so he got the bell back, but he never got the rest of the horn. It was some other weird airport. Yeah. What's the link for providing a tuba workshop scholarship? Says
Oh,
Tom Holtz.
that would be helpful. pedalnotemedia.com/scholarship. And thanks to our friends at Harmony Arts Foundation for helping us out with that. Yep,
Thank you, Tom, for asking that question.
pedalnotemedia.com/scholarship. He probably just wants a scholarship.
Probably.
All right.
All right.
I need to go upstairs and help get the little monster into a state of sleep,
Hmm.
which some nights is remarkably easy, and then there are the other nights.
The other nights.
That
All
little
right.
man cannot turn his brain off.
Yeah.
Yep. No matter how badly Daddy needs him to. It's
Ooh,
like
I
no.
have to teach in person for the first day tomorrow, since
Oh.
like middle of October last year.
Oh, that's well. I'm sure that they've found a vaccine for you first.
Oh yeah, well it's euphonium only. They said it's a vaccine. It's in a Lysol can. I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing it right or not.
My friend Mike Jacobitz has been teaching in person since August, and he still hasn't gotten his first shot.
There you go.
Yeah, New Jersey's a little bit of a mess,
You guys.
and it's crazy how because let's see, how do I put this delicately? It's well, they're just until recently there was not much of a unified federal. I don't know if you noticed that or not,
Hmm.
but much of a
Unified
federal
federal anything.
plan. Yeah, anything. So somebody said that that was not fair that there was a plan, and then someone said, "Well, it's kind of like saying yes, I had a plan for dinner. I was going to get myself takeout, and I'm not sure what you were going to eat." So it's like that. I had a plan. It was just involved picking up Chinese food for only me. Um, just the states, I know some people who have been able, and it's great, but to been able to get vaccinated who are like not frontline workers,
Yeah.
not doctors, not teachers going into schools, and then Mike Jacobus, who's been teaching like band with wind instruments in person indoors since August, and can't, my mother, who's like 73, who has not been able to sign up for a first shot yet. It's interesting.
Pennsylvania. Well, this was about a week ago. I heard this. 44th in the country. So
Virginia was a hot mess at first and has since gone way up in terms of percentage of people. So it's
good.
like it's coming. And I did read from people that seem to know that because there's so much production right now in February and in March that it looks like April is going to be like wide open signups. Still going to be an issue of getting it to everybody. But I mean, let's be frank. People like you and I are going to be at the front of that line just because of internet connections and computers and the ability to travel wherever we need to, and lots of things that I don't really feel like I earned, like at all. It's just kind of dumbass luck. But that's the story of my life and of my career. So it's like
dumbass luck.
I met Sam when I was young. So and then I made a living. So that's pretty much that's my. Should I put that as an autobiography? Can you do like a pamphlet as an autobiography?
Yeah.
I think I should do that.
Well, of course.
It's not a book. It's more of a pamphlet. It's like a handout.
It's a brochure.
Yeah. He played with Trey, and he thinks you should be impressed by that. So that's pretty much the end of my bio. So.
All right. Good luck getting him to sleep.
Hey, thanks, Lance LeDuc, and good luck with being old and hating technology and dealing with things. So, all right, thank you, everybody. Goodbye, Facebook. We'll do the awkward wave, and we will see you all on to be determined. We might be doing Sunday. I actually have a brainstorm for you, Lance. I know you've got Wibbick until a little later than we usually do, but there's a brainstorm that we have about oh, by the way, you like this?
I do.
My son has the shirt that says superhero, and then I've got sidekick. So
gotcha.
So this is awkward. I should have said that right away. People are going to think that I think that I'm your sidekick. Right. Uh-oh. Keep you All right, we will see you all probably on Sunday. We'll announce it ahead of time. So